Eddie Murphy, one of the greatest black legends ever to do it, rose from almost nothing and made the entire world laugh. The unstoppable hero of Beverly Hills Cop, the radiant heart of the Nutty Professor, the immortal voice of Donkey in Shrek. His comedy crossed every boundary, race, time, language, and reshaped what pride, presence, and possibility could look like on a global stage. But behind 4 decades of thunderous applause was a quiet carved by pain. A father taken too soon, a mother struck by illness, a year in foster care, and the kind of loneliness that teaches a kid to turn tears into punchlines. Now at 64, what shadow still lingers for the man who gave so much joy to everyone else? Before we dive in, hit like, not for clicks, but as a nod to a life that turned struggle into light. Spring 1961, a cramped apartment in Brooklyn's Bushwick. A baby named Edward Regan Murphy arrives in a world that demands muscle before it offers mercy. His dad, Charles Edward Murphy, worked transit police by day and told jokes at night. His mom, Lillian, a telephone operator with a voice soft enough to hold a family together. Bushwick wasn't a postcard. It was cracked sidewalks and long nights. But inside those thin walls there was laughter, fragile, bright, and necessary. Then, at 3, his parents split. Visits replaced family dinners. Eddie learned early how people hide hurt with smiles. At 8, grief came like a slammed door. His father, who once filled the room with impressions, was gone. Eddie didn't talk about it much. He carried it. Years later, he'd admit, "When my father died, I learned how to make people laugh. I had to." From then on, laughter wasn't just a sound. It was armor. When his mother fell seriously ill, Eddie and his brother Charlie were placed in foster care for nearly a year. Not abandoned, just suspended between love and loss. Nights stretched long. He sat at a window whispering lines from cartoons. The TV became company. He copied every voice, every rhythm, teaching himself how to turn loneliness into a talent. "Comedy was my way of surviving," he'd say. "It kept me alive inside." By 1970, Lillian recovered and married Vernon Lynch, a steady man from an ice cream plant who offered the boys a new start in Roosevelt, Long Island. Eddie became the class clown at Roosevelt High School, voted most popular, making teachers laugh against their will. But that old lesson stayed: love can vanish. So can safety. In 1976, at 15, he stepped onto a talent show stage. The crowd roared. For the first time, the laughter didn't just protect him, it freed him. A spark caught. That spark turned into obsession by 16. No car, no manager, no stage wardrobe. He worked odd jobs, took the last train into Manhattan, hit smoky clubs at 2 a.m., and walked back through the cold when the train stopped. "I was so broke," he joked. "I couldn't even afford to laugh." He performed for drink tickets, a sandwich, a crumpled $10 tip, then crashed on a couch or a station bench. At 17, he said, "I do shows all night and fall asleep in class the next morning." But that was my education. He studied the masters: Richard Pryor's rawness, Bill Cosby's smoothness, Red Fox's grit, until the influences melted into something unmistakably his. Clubs hung up. TV said, "Too young, too new, too black." The rejection sharpened him. Then 1980. He was 19 when he reached Saturday Night Live, a show in free fall. He called NBC so often they stopped picking up. Destiny finally did. He was cast in the shadows. Then one night the show ran short. A producer said, "Eddie, get out there." Minutes. One chance. He unloaded everything: voices, faces, rhythm, heartbreak, joy. The audience exploded. That wasn't applause, it was resurrection. The kid from Bushwick became the heartbeat of American comedy in real time. In 1982, at 21, he hit the big screen with 48 H-Whores, then Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd turned social satire into electricity. By 1984, Beverly Hills Cop crossed $316 million, the top-grossing film of the year. A black actor at the top of the global box office. He didn't wait for a seat, he built the table, but success races faster than rest. Scripts, sets, rewrites, interviews. He'd wake to a 5 a.m. call sheet with last night's laughter still buzzing in his head. People think being funny is easy, he said once. Sometimes it's the hardest job in the world. He kept blazing, the golden child coming to America. Bigger, louder, and lonelier. Everybody's laughing, he told a friend, but nobody's listening. By 1989, he wrote, directed and headlined Harlem Nights with heroes Richard Pryor and Red Fox, a crown he meant to wear on his terms. The box office cleared over $60 million, but critics turned cold. He watched the premiere from the back. As the credits rolled and the lights came up, rows of empty seats stared back. That's how silence sounds in Hollywood. The 1990s arrived with exhaustion. Beverly Hills Cop 3 stumbled. Headlines got mean. In 1997, a single late-night misunderstanding became tabloid fuel. When the world loves you, he said later, it wants to own you. When it can't, it wants to break you. So he stepped back. He stayed home. He listened to his kids. He remembered what laughter is for. Then, 1996, The Nutty Professor. Not just a comeback, a rebirth. 7 characters, 1 soul. Audiences howled, then cried, then stood up for the kid who'd made them believe again. That was me, he said. All of me. After that, Dr. Dolittle, Mulan's Mushu, and then Shrek, Donkey, the purest distillation of Eddie's spirit ever captured. Parents who grew up with Beverly Hills Cop now laughed beside their kids. He had become a bridge. In 2006, he stunned again with Dreamgirls, vulnerable, bruised, brilliant. He won the Golden Globe. The Oscars passed. Sometimes, he said, you got to know when to leave the room. The 2010s brought reflection. Dolomite Is My Name, 2019, roared to 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and a Golden Globe nomination. He returned to SNL after 35 years. Legends Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, and Tracy Morgan stood not to roast him, but to thank him. In 2015, he received the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. They call it a prize for humor, he smiled. To me, it's a prize for surviving it. From 48 to Dreamgirls, from Shrek to Dolomite Is My Name, his work reshaped the art. Critics call him a pioneer. Comedians call him the blueprint. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Trevor Noah, you can hear his rhythm in all of them. At the height of the 1980s, fame filled every room, but couldn't warm an empty one. Away from the cameras, he found quiet connection with Paulette McNeely. In 1989, their son Eric was born. He wanted to be present. Real life kept pulling hard. Then came Tamara Hood, steady, kind. Their son Christian arrived in 1990. He adored his boys, even as work stole hours no one gets back. People think success fixes you, he said. It doesn't. It just hides what's broken. A new decade, a different hope. He married Nicole Mitchell at the Plaza. The 1990s became their golden years. Bria, Miles, Shane, Zola, Bella, 5 children, a house full of joy. He built a backyard playground, not for status, but as a promise. His kids would never feel the emptiness he knew. Then the 2000s. Shrek, Dr. Dolittle. The Nutty Professor. The world wanted more, always more. The more he gave, the less he was home. You're everywhere, Nicole said softly. Except here. By 2006, they separated. No scandal, just distance. Reports said $15 million in the settlement. Money can't split memories. We didn't fall out of love, he reflected. We just fell out of sync. Later that year came Mel B, Melanie Brown. Fire met fire. It burned bright and fast. In April 2007, she gave birth to Angel Iris Murphy Brown. After noise and doubt, clarity arrived in a child's eyes. He showed up, not with grandstanding, but with presence. Angel knows her father. That's what matters, Mel said. A storm left wisdom behind. Then Tracy Edmonds, poised, accomplished, calm. On New Year's Day 2008 in Bora Bora, they exchanged vows in a ceremony filled with intention, though not legally binding at home. Back in Los Angeles, life proved heavier than paradise. They chose grace over blame and parted as friends. We just weren't in the same place, he said with respect. By 2012, he wasn't chasing fireworks. He wanted warmth. He met Paige Butcher, private, grounded, no hunger for spotlight. Their life grew in whispers. In 2016, they welcomed Izzy Una. In 2018, their son Max Charles arrived, named in love for Eddie's brother Charlie. The house filled with small, good noises, cartoons, piano notes, soft laughter from the next room. "My kids are everything," he said in 2019. The center of the universe had shifted from applause to presence. In 2017, Charlie Murphy, his brother, his first audience, passed. There was no statement, just silence. "He lost the man who knew the whole story," a friend said. Grief didn't destroy Eddie. It reshaped him. He learned that peace isn't the absence of pain. It's understanding how to carry it. He slowed. He walked. He cooked. He laughed softer, truer. The lines on his face became a map, not a mask. The spark in his eyes is the same one that once made darkness laugh back, from Bushwick to Beverly Park, from foster care to film history, from late trains at 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. call sheets, from silence to a roar, and back to a gentler quiet. Eddie Murphy didn't just make people laugh. He taught the world how laughter can heal. The boy who survived the dark by telling jokes became the man who found peace in the light he created. If his journey ever lifted you through a hard week, a long night, a tough season, drop a heart, tap like, and share your favorite Eddie moment in the comments. Not as routine, but as respect. Because Eddie Murphy's story isn't just Hollywood. It's proof that no matter where you begin, grace can still find you in the end.